A few years ago, this might have earned Walter Dudich a footnote in Ripley's Believe It or Not. After all, he's a Republican running for the state Senate in Chicago.
I am running as a Republican with Ronald Reagan. I wish that if you want to vote for the entire Republican ticket, please punch 8.
Party pros on both sides agree that Dudich, who's a Chicago police detective, could win, largely because fellow Republican Ronald Reagan is popular on the Northwest side, and Dudich is eagerly grabbing for the president's coattails.
The people on the Northwest side are finally waking up and are saying, you know what, we have been Republicans for years. Let's finally admit it, and admit it in the polling place.
In the state Senate, though, the margin is a relatively close 33 Democrats to 26 Republicans. The GOP thinks a Reagan landslide could tilt the balance its way. 4 Illinois Senate districts have been targeted by the Republicans, including the 7th district, where the party is spending an unprecedented $100,000 to help Dudich defeat Egan. The man who could become the president of a Republican-controlled Senate says that money is being well spent.
Traditional ethnic people who traditionally vote Democratic are voting for Ronald Reagan this time. I think that you will see the biggest crossover that you've ever seen in the history of the city of Chicago. And I think that you'll see more straight Republican votes in the city than we've ever seen.
And over in the state Senate, the GOP missed taking over control by 2 seats. The split now stands at 31 Democrats, 28 Republicans, including a man of history, Walter Dudich. He is the first Republican state senator in the 7th district in 10 years.
It's exciting. It's exciting because it gives us an opportunity to represent the people. And it also is exciting because we have an opportunity to build a true 2-party system in the city of Chicago.
Republican State Senator Walter Dudich is pledging GOP opposition in the General Assembly to the proposed property tax increase in Chicago. Dudich told a news conference this morning he would push for a General Assembly vote to override the tax hike. He says the Democratic leadership in City Council is worried about how to raise taxes rather than how to reduce spending.
The only debate going on is which tax the city is going to impose on the citizens. I mean, there's no other arguments, just which tax. Is it a property tax? Is it a gas tax? And I don't think that that is the way that they should go. The Constitution provides that the home rule units may increase these property taxes if they're reasonable and fair. What we are contending is that this increase is not reasonable and it is not fair. It is combined with a recent quadrennial reassessment, which is increasing 100% property taxes in many parts of the Northwest side.
Moseley Braun, Democratic representative from Hyde Park in Chicago and Assistant Majority Leader in the House. She's Mayor Washington's spokesperson in the House. And Walter Dudich, Republican State Representative from Chicago's 7th District with headquarters on West Lawrence Avenue. And State Senator.
I'm interested in electing a Republican mayor. Okay.
And you may or may not be that person.
I may or may not be that person.
All right, now, let me go to the tax issue right quick.
Let's talk about responsibility. You have a responsibility to your constituency, and so do I. My constituency is going to be feeling the brunt of this tax increase higher than anybody else.
And that's not so.
And they're telling me,
Senator,
fight it.
Being with us, and thank you for being with us. I'm John Callaway. Good night.
In a phone call with this reporter, Senator Joyce did confirm he's thinking about running for mayor on the Republican ticket. Now, the only Republican state senator from Chicago sitting now in the Senate is Walter Dudich of the Northwest side.
If he changes to the Republican Party label and runs as a Republican, not as a Democrat running under the label and reverting back to Democrat after the election, I would not go along with that. As long as we present ourselves as a moderate, acceptable alternative to the squabbling factions, the hatred-filled factions on the other side of the Democrat Party, I think that it's an opportunity for the people to come out and join us.
Here on the Northwest side, one state senator says that school strike or no school strike, special legislative session or no special session, his constituents just do not want any kind of a tax increase.
You can't justify the increase. You can't justify it. My people are telling me the quality of education is not there. You keep throwing money into an open pit and you keep burning it away. Where is the reform?
Well, there's that wonderful word again, reform. But as we've learned, reform in Chicago is definitely in the eye of the beholder. What's clear right now is that Republicans like Dudich and others in the General Assembly are making it quite plain. If there is a big crisis this fall, the Chicago schools don't open, and it stretches quite late for weeks on end, they're going to demand big changes in the Chicago public schools in return for any new state money. Bill and Lester, back to you. Well, presidential candidates are already crisscrossing Illinois. They seem to be coming in and out of here at least once a week because this state is once again going to play a pivotal role in the 1988 presidential campaign. In one of the most important swing constituencies, one that seems in some ways to hold the balance of political power, in fact, is the so-called white ethnic vote. It has been traditionally Democratic, but increasingly it is now Republican. The Southwest Side's Congressman William Lipinski is trying to reverse that trend. He is chairman of an ethnic panel created by the Democratic Party. He is also the 23rd Ward Democratic committeeman. On the other hand, Walter Dudich perhaps is the embodiment of what's happening in some ethnic neighborhoods. He was the first Republican state senator elected on the northwest side of Chicago in many, many years.
I don't know. I think the congressman would have to explain in his own ward in 1982, no Republicans won any office. 1984, Senator Percy and President Reagan won in his ward. And in 1986, 4 Republicans won in his ward. So the trend is continuing.
All right. What is happening? Why is that?
Well, the ethnic American voters that make up the southwest side, the northwest side of the city of Chicago, and most of suburban Cook County, have become disenchanted with the Democratic Party.
Why?
Because some of the very high-profile issues, such as abortion, school prayer, military aid to the Contras, strong...
Between the congressman and myself, what I think has happened is that what the congressman has said is that the Democratic Party has left the mainstream of where the ethnic America is. The Democratic Party has abandoned them. In his words, he has said the same thing that we've been saying. What we are saying is that the Republican Party is offering an opportunity for those of us that are dissatisfied as Democrats to come on over. Jim O'Grady is a good example. Myself is a good example. Bob Reka. Up until recently, Democrats were the only game in town. Now, since the squabbling among the various different factions in Chicago, there is no such thing as an independent Democrat anymore. You're on one side of an issue or the other side of an issue. The Republicans are emerging as the true independents in the city. Locally, the Democratic Party has become the party of exclusion. If I were a Democrat, I could never be elected in Chicago unless I first became a precinct captain, if I first delivered garbage cans, if I worked ringing doorbells for my committeemen, and I would possibly become a candidate through time, not through opportunity. The opportunity is there. Recently, the opportunity has become available for people to run as Republicans, quality candidates. In the past, there was one party. There was no accusations or answer the accusations of the congressman what's happening in Washington, D.C. But locally, I know that the Democratic Party is in such disarray. They have gone so far left that the opportunity for the ethnic community is not there. The only way that the ethnic community can voice their opinions locally are through the Republican Party. The opportunity for candidates to emerge by not becoming precinct captains, by not being beholden to a ward committeeman or a political machine, is to become Republicans.